You've decided to build a home, or you've just bought land, and now you're thinking, what do I do next? How much cash do I need? Do I talk to a designer or a builder? Can I even build what I want on this block? Will it fit my budget? It's normal to feel overwhelmed and confused, but don't worry, because in this video, I'll be going through the 7 steps required to go from where you are right now to a fixed price build contract for your custom home. For each step, I'm going to be going over what you need to know, who you need to talk to, how long it'll take, and what to look out for. And make sure you're watching till the end, because I'll be going through the rough costs as well. So for this example, I'll be going through a straightforward custom home via CDC in New South Wales. If you have to go down the DA route, let me know in the comments below and I'll make a separate video for that. The first step is to decide who will design your home. You've got 2 options. You can either go to a building designer or an architect. They'll work closely with you to design your home, and then you go find a builder separately, or you can go to a builder who provides a design and construct service where the same company handles both design and construction. When you choose a builder for both design and construct, you'll have one point of contact from start to finish. They'll handle everything, including surveyors, engineers, designers, approvals, everything. It's simpler and faster, and you avoid having to go back and forth between different parties, saving you both time and stress. Now, if you still decide to go with a building designer because you really like their particular style, I would still highly suggest to get the builder involved early, because builders know what things actually cost. Designers and architects usually don't have the same level of pricing knowledge, so the design might end up looking great, but once it's priced by a builder, it comes back way over budget. A common mistake that people make at this stage is trying to guess what they might be able to afford by sussing out different plans online. They're worried they might go over budget, or they just have no idea what they can get for their money. So they start shopping around and looking at different plans and asking, how much would this plan cost to build? But that's backwards. They're trying to get to the costs before they even have their design drafted, and they don't even know yet whether this is going to fit on their block. It doesn't work. Every block is different, and costs are going to depend on things like slope, layout, materials, and inclusions. You're probably going to end up getting confused and wasting more time. So the smart move is to start off with your budget and then let the builder or designer work around that. That way, you get a plan that's going to be realistic and it's buildable. When you work with the right people and you get the builder involved early, you'll get a better outcome. So the design package will usually include initial consultations, concept plans, architectural plans, and other documentation that's required for CDC approval. If you're financing your build, this is a good time to start speaking to your mortgage broker or your lender to see how much you can borrow, and it might be a good idea to get conditional approval at this stage. The second step is to get your design drafted. Once you've chosen who's going to do your design, the first thing they will do is arrange for a site survey. This maps out your block, where the boundaries are, if there's any slope, where the stormwater drains and the easements are, all the stuff that's going to affect what and where you can build on your block. To speed things up a little, you can also get this done yourself while you're choosing a designer or a builder. So at this stage, they'll sit down with you to learn more about your lifestyle needs, and more importantly, they'll work backwards from your budget to create a design that's going to fit on your block. You don't have to worry about the details at this stage, but you'll walk away with a clear direction and a good starting point. Step 3 is to get a preliminary cost estimate. So once you've got your concept plans, you can now get a preliminary cost estimate from the builder. This is a rough costing based on the floor plan, your preferences, and the general inclusions. Now at this point, you're trying to answer one question. Can we build this design in our budget? If you're working with a design and construct builder, the service to quote will be baked into their preliminary fee. If you've chosen to go with a designer, you can get quotes from a few different builders to see how they compare. Some builders will give you this for free, others are going to charge for it. But remember, a good builder is going to be clear, responsive, and transparent, but might not be the cheapest. Now, usually what happens is the quote comes back and it's over budget, but that's okay. You usually start with your wish list and then work backwards from there to go within your budget. So now you've got a starting point, and that brings us to step 4, making adjustments to your design. With the first cost estimate most likely coming in over budget, it's time to make adjustments to your design. So the builder or designer will work with you to tweak the layout, the materials, the facade, or inclusions, whatever's really needed to bring the costs down within budget. After these tweaks are made, your design will then be finalized. That means the general layout, the structure, the exterior finishes are all going to be locked in. You can still make small changes later, but the main shape of the house is now set. And a quick tip from us, find a builder who gives you quick feedback on design choices. For example, we had a client who was trying to choose between render over brick or render over foam to save some cost. We got back to them within 24 hours with the price difference, which in that case was 9K, and they were able to make the decision straight away. So that meant we could keep moving things along without the process having to drag out. Step 5, get a detailed cost estimate. This is where things start to get real. Up until now, you've mainly dealt with either the designer or the builder, but to get to a fixed price contract, the builder needs a full pack of documents to be able to price accurately. So this is going to include things like the final plans, engineering drawings, basic certificates, any other consultant reports, and also input from the certifier. Once all these are obtained, the builder will start putting together a detailed cost estimate. And this is going to be based on your plans, your inclusions, and the site conditions. Now, during this process, they might ask you questions like, do you want timber flooring or do you want tiles? Do you want stone or laminate for your bench tops? But don't worry, you don't need to finalize the colors just yet, but you do need to pick the type of finishes that you want so that it can be priced accurately. The builder will then present this cost estimate to you with a full list of inclusions. The estimate should be accurate enough to form the basis of your fixed price contract. Step 6, get CDC approval. Almost there, guys. We're about 2 months in and we've got just under a month to go. So once your detailed costing is done and you're happy with the numbers, it's time to get it approved by a private certifier. This is where you'll apply for a CDC or a complying development certificate. It's much quicker than a DA, and if you've got everything ready, you'll get approval within about 2 weeks. By the way, if you're wondering what the difference is between a CDC and DA, click here and watch the video we made earlier. The certifier will need all the documents we've discussed in the previous steps, and depending on your arrangement, the builder or designer will gather all these and submit them for you. Once CDC is approved, you're ready for the contract. Step 7, the final step, sign the build contract. While your plans are being submitted for CDC approval, the builder will start preparing your fixed price contract. So this will include the standard HIA or MBA contract, the full list of inclusions and specifications, construction timelines, payment schedules, and any other exclusions or special conditions. They'll also ask you for proof of funds if you're going to be paying cash, or loan approval if you're going to be financing the build. Now, a good builder will sit down with you and explain all the clauses in the contract line by line, so there's no surprises later on. Once everything is understood and agreed, it's time to sign the dotted line. Congratulations, you've now turned your vision into a signed fixed price build contract and you're ready to start construction. So how long does this all take? In terms of timelines, the whole process from start to finish can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months, or even longer in some cases. It really depends on who's managing the process, how quickly you can make decisions, and how complex your site is. If you decide to manage everything yourself, like dealing with the designer, the engineers, the surveyors, other consultants, it'll probably take you around 5 to 6 months. Because you can imagine, you'll be getting a few quotes for each one of the consultants, and there's a lot of back and forth, and there's a lot of people you have to speak to. It takes some time. So that tends to slow things down. But if you're working with a builder who's going to manage the process for you from start to finish, and you're able to make decisions quickly, this can all be done in about 3 months. So in most cases, it's worth letting the builder handle everything. It's going to save you time, stress, and make sure that things keep moving forward. Now let's talk about what you've probably been waiting to hear about, cost. So here's what you can expect to spend across the whole process, from your initial consultation all the way to a fixed price building contract. The steps 1 to 4, which covers your design package, including the plans, your consultations, and getting the initial cost estimate, it's going to cost you anywhere around $8,000 to $16,000. That number jumps up to over $20,000 if you're going with an architect. If you want to know what the difference is between a designer and an architect, click here. From step 5 onwards, the consultant costs start kicking in. You're looking at around $800 for a basics report. Engineering drawings are going to be anywhere around $5,000 or more. private certifier will cost around $3,000 and possibly a Sydney Water Services coordinator, which could be up to $800. So if we put all of that together, you're looking at around $17,000 to $26,000 before any construction work starts. But once this is done, you've got a full set of plans, your approvals, and a fixed price building contract ready to go. Now, I do want to call out that if your site has other complexities, like it's in a bushfire zone, or there's flooding zone, or there's a lot of trees, you will need other reports like an arborist report or a bushfire consultant or other consultants, which are going to add to that cost. In these cases, you might not be able to go down the CDC route. You'll need to do a DA, which is probably going to take longer. If that's you, reach out to us and we can help you figure out what's needed. So there you go. I know it can feel like a lot at first, but if you follow these steps, you'll stay ahead, avoid making any big mistakes, and keep things moving forward. If you're not really sure what to do next, or you want a second opinion on your plans, please reach out. We're happy to help. If you found this video helpful and you know someone else looking to build a house, please share this with them. Thanks for watching and good luck with your build.